person to come up, I'll do. We've got a branch meeting tomorrow at the club in the back room here, where we'll be discussing whether we should nominate somebody tomorrow. So if you're a member of the branch, well to be there tomorrow, we'll be discussing that, whether we should nominate anybody based on. We won't be doing any voting today, it's just a question and answer thing to inform yourself of each of the candidates. Unfortunately, Les Bayliss, as you'll probably be aware from what I've said, won't be here, so I think everybody's already been given a copy of the leaflets. But tomorrow I will have all these leaflets again to hand out, and they'll be available from me entirely through the period of the election, so I'll notify them, so people can see quite clearly. But we'll put the video on YouTube, and so everybody better watch it on that if you've got access to the internet and so on. Right. Yeah, well, everybody else has gone there, so be at the same position on the video. If you all got your heads cut off, you'll all be at the same on that.
Direct, not
this
moved.
is Jan Faherty, who's speaking on behalf of Gail Cartmail, sorry, and well, he'll obviously explain why he's on the big head. Thank you.
Hi. Yes, it's Faherty if you come from England, it's Farty if you come from Ireland, which causes a lot of embarrassment, as you can well imagine. I'm here really because Gail has asked me to come here as a rep of nearly 20 years within the NHS. A difficult environment to work in these days, and one under huge threat. Gail I've known for about 16 or 17 years. I first met Gail when she was Equalities Officer for the union in the days of MSF. My background was primarily in equalities strands, and I got heavily involved in the union when I realised that my partner, which is now a partner of 26 years, wouldn't gain my NHS pension when I died because he was the same sex as me. So I got heavily involved in the LGBT section, which at that time Gail was the Equalities Secretary for. And I got to know Gail very, very well. So the reason I'm supporting her is because, as I know her, she is, first of all, a very balanced and powerful influence in the union, a very good and positive influence. She has a very good background originally as a rep. She came from the print industry, a difficult industry which was very heavily male dominated, and she made her mark as a female rep, which is really quite something in those days. She has a strong voice in many sectors. She was Health Service Secretary for many years and still has responsibility for that, and has fought very hard for a lot of the issues that we've had in the NHS, again, which is why, as an NHS rep, I give her that support. So there's two strands there where I feel she's a great candidate to be General Secretary. The other big issue, though, is that I'm going to boast a bit. Last year I was described by Christian Matheson, who is Derek's personal assistant, as the most independent trade unionist he knew. The reason being, I don't sit on the left or the right. I sit in what I think is a fair middle. And every issue I like to look at, evaluate and decide on, and I will not be influenced by a faction within the union. And certainly in MSF and Amicus, we haven't had time for that to develop, but it's still there. There were tremendous tensions within the union, on the left and the right. And I found that tragic. It militates against good, solid democracy, good, solid working together. And Gail comes from the tradition of not lining herself with left or right, but being a mediator, somebody who can bring two sides together. And that again is why I want to support Gail and why I urge others to do so. I know for a fact she can do that. I've worked with her when I've seen her do that. And I've been in situations where she's had to bring two sides together. She has a very good public presence. I don't know how many saw her on television a couple of weeks ago, challenging the Tory leadership over issues, to such an extent that some of the Tory politicians were actually agreeing with her, which I think was a great triumph, that they were admitting they were wrong and she was right. That's pretty good. I've also seen Gail work in Europe. She has a big influence in the European Public Sector Union's organisation, EPSU, and has moved links with our union into EPSU, which I think is very good. Whatever one's views on Europe, we are a European nation, and movement of labour across Europe is rife, is it not? And it works both ways. People come here, we can go there. And I think having those links with Europe is another great benefit that Gail has. She has that input, she's had that input, she's recognised and has influence in that sector in Europe. And that's another reason why I think she's worth supporting. As I say, I can't speak for specific policies. I can't answer in the way that Gail would answer if she was here, but I can as a rep of a long-standing time who's been heavily involved with many strands of the union, urge you to support her because I think she's a great candidate for the job. And sort of to let my slip show, to have a woman at the head of what is essentially a male-dominated organisation, and forgive me for being a bit that way inclined, would I think be fantastic. It would be a great influence in political circles and union circles as a whole. And I really think she's got the guts, the strength, the determination, and the ability to do it. And that's all I've got to say.
Thank you very much.